This class is about how to build a fashion brand, but it is also about how to design your life. Because when you are at the beginning of your life, it is very important to dream and to think about what you will do. And you may have an idea for a product and you may build around that, but you have to remember, as you design your product, you also design your life. And it is equally as important to understand that. Why do you want to be a designer? I mean, I think that's actually the first question that you have to answer yourself. Why you want to be a designer? Is it because you have an eye? Is it because you like the idea of it? I think it's important that you know that. I mean, is your impulse really creative and you have an eye and you love colors and maybe you like prints and or is it that you like the craftsmanship? Or, you know, you have to know why you have this desire. Maybe it's just you like the idea of being a designer. I mean, is it that you really are talented and you have an idea? Or is it that you think it's glamorous and you want to do it? It's very important that you ask yourself the question, why? And am I delusional? Or does it make any sense? It's very, very important. The more precise you are about what you want to do, the more successful you will be. So I think it is, the most important is to, again, as I said, the rule number one for me is, you know, the most important relationship is the one you have with yourself. And that works for your career also. You have to know what you want, but then maybe be open to other suggestions, think what you want to do, make sure you're not delusional, and go for it. Right now, we live at a time that everything is changing. All the industries are changing. Magazines don't have the power they used to have. Everything goes directly. I mean, today, you know, you don't need a dictionary. You don't need a map. You see everything online. So it is difficult to become, you know, somebody that to be noticed, but now you have all the, you know, you have social media, you have the internet. So now is time not so much to look at the past and how other people did, but it's also a time to take the lessons from how people did it, but to apply it to today. So who in your area is a person that you could work for? I mean, that I think would be, you know, wherever you live, is there somebody that you say, I would like to do that? Because then your goal is, let me try to go and work for this person, or let me go and meet this person, because that is the best way to do it. I think that clearly the most important thing, if you want to realize a dream, is to know what this dream is. And the more concrete and the more specific this dream is, the better chance you have to do it. Who has an eye versus who doesn't have an eye? I mean, it's like music, you know? I mean, you can sing or you can't sing. I mean, I certainly can't sing. Do you have an eye because, you know, the way you put things together, the way you assemble objects in a room, the way you draw, the way you look at things, the way you take pictures. You know, some people just have an eye, and some people have a sense of harmony and sense of shapes and sense of colors. So that, unless you have that music singing in you, it's probably not the right job for you. Everybody gets in this in a different place. And my advice to you would be, first, to be really hard on yourself and not be delusional. But then once you have established that, you can actually push forward and be daring and be creative. Because at the end, it's all about creativity. Well, today again, because of the internet, you can learn so much. You could look at every other brand. You could look at what they do. You could look at how they communicate to their consumer. You could, I mean, it's like it's an endless school. I mean, it's all out there for you to look at and to remember. But today we live in a world that is so rapidly changing that what was right before may not be right now. The business models are changing. They're changing for magazines, they're changing for advertising, so they're changing for everybody. So it is very important to study, to look at what other brands have done, how they develop their personality, you know, how they created little by little DNA. That, yes. But as distribution and all of that, right now the big success is all these little brands that appear who are people who didn't have a brand before, but they offer a product at a good price on the internet, and they go. If you are a shoe designer, you should look at Christian Louboutin, at Manolo Blahnik, at all of that. Definitely, you should look at the craftsmanship, why it happened. I mean, it is very important for you to read the history of the big brands of the product that you are interested in, for sure. But that is about creating the product so that you have something nice, well done, and hopefully at a good price. As far as how you will market that I will tend to say today, be very open, because what were the rules before may not be the rules for tomorrow. To be an intern is the best way to learn, absolutely the best way. So if you do anything, nothing, intern is the step number one and the most important. Don't ask for money. Don't feel it's bad if you bring coffee. There's no job that's too small. There are no stupid jobs, there are only stupid people. And sometimes you learn something while you're working which is so different, which takes you in a direction that is so different than what you thought you were. When I first started, I worked in this factory that was a printing mill. So I learned all about prints and colors and discharge versus, I mean, I learned all these things. I never thought I would use it. And then it turned out to be how I developed my eye. It's like a school. I mean, and again, it will take you by surprise. You may like something that you didn't even know exist, and you may not be interested in something you thought you wanted. When you start, you have to be very open-minded and just be clear about where your talent is, and then get better and better and better. You may want to be a designer and all of a sudden decide that you will do flower arrangements, which is another way of designing. So designing is absolutely not only fashion designing. There's so much designing that you can do. So I think you have to be hard on yourself, but you also have to dare. Push the door, do whatever you have to do to be close to someone that you respect, that you admire, so that you will learn, you will establish a relationship, and you then will know what direction you want to go. Okay, so I'm looking at the portfolio of Signe Stuhag from Norway, 23 years old, so it's a great time to think. And it seems to me like Signe has this wonderful vision of seeing the fashion show and the glamour of it. But I think that what we talked about is precisely what, Sim, you have to do. Clearly, Sin, you are interested in fashion, you get inspired by fashion, and you don't know how to go about it. So my advice to you is you should absolutely try to go and work for a designer, because then you will understand the process, you will understand if you can bring anything, and if that is your direction. So my advice to you is to go and work for a designer. Maybe you could go and work for a store and understand more that aspect of it. But try to go and work for somebody that you respect and that you can learn from. So clearly, at this point, you have a lot to learn. You don't even, you don't really know how to get fabric, how the production works. So right now is your learning curve. You have to go and learn how it works. There's no way that you can really make any contribution unless you learn first. What can you contribute? Do you have any talent? And what is your talent? All of those things is what you must answer to yourself before you get in the industry. But my big advice is push the door, try to work for somebody that will get you either in the front door or side door of this industry. So this is your assignment. I think you should pick a brand that you like, that you relate to, or maybe even that you don't like, but that is successful. And you should think about that brand. What is their mission statement? What is it that they repeat over and over and over? What is it that they have that is distinguishable? What is it that is distinguishable? If you say 3 words about that brand, or 1 word, what is that? Once you have done that exercise for a brand, try to do it for what you want to do. That'll be interesting.